And they tried to stop your boy, but we back, bro. I'm telling you, bro, I would not be silenced, bro. I would not be silenced, bro. Would not be silenced, bro. Come on. It was apparently this clip is copyrighted. It's copyrighted. All right, we back. I think I spelled your wrong. Oh boy. Oh. Yes, sir. We back, bro. We back, bro. We back. They tried it, bro. They really tried it. We about to finish this clip too. Hold my nuts, YouTube. Hold my nuts. Hold my nuts. Hold my nuts. I didn't get. I mean, this clip is almost over. I just privated the live. I mean, it's all good. I didn't get striked or nothing, bro. I'm looking at the channel right now. We all good, bro. We all good. So we gonna wait for more people to get in here. I should have spammed the link in the chat. We had a bunch of people in here. Can you hear me? Oh, let me see. Let me see. Live event is over. I can't even comment on the last one. Yeah, because the that one is already gone. The live is over. I had to end it. I mean, well, they end it for me, and I privated the video too. That's why you can't see it. We hear you. All right, word. Let's get back into it.
They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Man. You know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Woo! Now, somebody in the chat said that he passed right after this. Not like right after he got done talking, but or with the show, but he had passed away right after that. Is that true? My light just turned off too. That was weird. Because if that's true, then that is literally insane, bro. Okay, so we gotta find part 2 of that video. My brother Zoe said it's in here somewhere. Look, this channel has not uploaded in 7 years. And like, look at the dislikes. People just don't believe it, bro. People just don't believe it. Yeah, I can see your comments, Alan. I can see it. So let's see. This is like he made these videos 10 years ago, guys. 10 years ago. Where is it? Oh, here it is. We found it. Damn, I'm blind as hell. It was right next to me. So this is continuing the Olympic video.
Is it just a coincidence that the creator of Spooks Code 9 and the production company behind the series, both use the one-eye symbolism favored by the Illuminati.
Wow.
The Olympic mascots are also an obvious reference to one-eye symbolism. Why do they only have one eye? The symbolism of the one-eye mascots is the same one-eye symbolism that is found on the dollar note.
Yup. Illuminati.
The 2011 late August edition of Private Eye was mainly devoted to comment and analyze on the riots that took place in the UK at that time. It had nothing to do with the Olympics. The cover of the magazine told a different story, however. Look at the title and look at the caption. Why was the cover called Olympic Rehearsal, and why did the caption refer to the Olympic ceremony being the worst ever, when this particular edition had nothing to do with the Olympics? Is another secret message being delivered, which is that something bad will happen at the Olympic opening ceremony? Further suspicions are raised by a report in 2005 that claimed that the site of the Olympic Park was previously the site of an experimental nuclear reactor.
What?
In the film 2012, the main character is shown looking for a map while trying to escape an exploding volcano. The first map he finds, strangely happens to be a map of the London Underground.
No.
When he finds the map, he decides to fully open it, even though it isn't the one he needs.
I'm done, chat. I literally got goosebumps. But like, who remembers 2012? Listen, when 2012 came out, so I'm 21 years old. I was about, I don't know. Maybe I don't remember. I don't remember how old I was. I was young, maybe 13. I don't know. Who cares? Whatever. I was shook. I went to go see this in theaters with my brother, and 2012 was when the Mayan calendar said, "Oh, the world's gonna end," this and that. But like, chat, like, I'm shook right now. I'm not gonna lie. It just goes to show you, like, people are, oh, that could never happen. This and that. Like, bro, like, that's how the end of the world is gonna be. Like, that's literally the rapture. That's in the Bible. People are like, oh, well, it's just an entertainment. Like, no. Like, this movie is insane, bro.
Notice how the character is made to hold up the map so that we can clearly see it is a map of the London Underground. The scene seems to have been deliberately set up to emphasize the connection between the London Underground and 2012, or London and 2012. Is this another example of a film being used to reveal what is going to happen in the future? The film V for Vendetta was based on the comic book series of the same name. The comic included 2 examples of suspicious symbolism. Firstly, the cover of the comic uses one-eye symbolism. DC Comics, the comics publisher, also used one-eyed symbolism as shown on page 35 of the 6th comic. On page 8 of the 8th comic, Aleister Crowley's maxim "do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the laws" is quoted. Aleister Crowley was a leading occultist and is thought by some to have been part of the Illuminati. These clues suggest that the comic series was put together by people who believed in the ideas of the Illuminati. The comic didn't, however, make any mention of a chemical biological attack on the London Underground, but the film did.
Terrorist strike with biological weapon.
Why would the later film refer to a chemical biological attack but not the original comic series? Is the film trying to convey the message that an attack on the London Underground is being planned? Before 9/11 and 7/7, There was mock exercises based on events that would later take place. Similarly, in September 2003, the emergency services and the London Underground took part in Operation Osiris, which was a mock exercise designed to test their ability to respond to a chemical biological attack on the London Underground. Why did they call it Operation Osiris? Osiris is an Egyptian god, usually identified as the god of the afterlife, the underworld and the dead. If you read about the Illuminati and other secret societies, you will discover a connection between them and Egyptian mythology. The fact that the mock exercise was called Operation Osiris suggests that the Illuminati are behind a plot to carry out an attack on the London Underground. The film 2012 suggests an attack is being planned for 2012. If the Illuminati are to move forward their plans to establish a new world order, they would have to use a large-scale fake terror event to scare people into accepting increased surveillance and control of their lives.
Exactly.
The clues presented in this video suggest that such an event is being planned to happen at the London Olympics and on the London Underground. If enough people are made aware of this information, however, the so-called Illuminati may be forced to cancel their plans and many lives will be saved.
This is insane, bro. All of the prior and future planned disasters are what Michael Jackson was going to warn the masses about during This Is It tour.
I want to show them talent like they've never seen before. So give your all. I love you all. We're a family. Just know that. We're a family. Yeah. We have to bring love back into the world, to remind the world that love is important. Love is important. Love each other. We're all one. It's a message. And take care of the planet. We have 4 years to get it right, or else it's irreversible damage we've done. So we have an important message to give. Okay?
Russia FSB reports pop icon Michael Jackson assassinated by the CIA. And you know what? You know what makes it, what gives me more goosebumps and what's crazy is that his last tour was called This Is It. You don't call a tour This Is It if that's not it. Like, if you're going to do more tours, like, it's almost like he knew what was going to happen. And we all know Michael Jackson was cloned. You know, if you were here and you watched the past videos, that's not the real Michael Jackson. We know it's Dave. This movie was fire. No, he was just regurgitating AI Gore rhetoric. Backstores. The reason behind the CIA needing to assassinate Michael Jackson, these reports continue, was an out-of-court settlement the pop icon signed with the son of the King of Bahrain, Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa. I can't pronounce that. This past November in London, in which stated in part that in exchange for millions of dollars previously lent to Mr. Jackson on by Sheikh, Mr. Jackson would allow his sold out United Kingdom concerts to be a platform for warning the world as of soon to occur mass Oh my god, bro. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy, bro. Yeah, it seems to kept a low 6 figures to keep yourself safe. Yeah. Remember what city that the shows were going? London. Michael Jackson performed 10 concerts in London this summer. Interesting. No, it's not a coincidence. Exactly, that's true. Across the world, look, this is what happened this year. This may be an event that triggers the quarantining of citizens across the world. Since the fallout is in the atmosphere, the virus, the beer virus, cannot be seen. You cannot see it with your eyes. It's in the atmosphere. That's what you know. That's why they want you to wear a mask. Into FEMA camps in order for them to carry out the next major global depopulation plans. Bro, this is literally a summer, and I know this is an older video, but this is depopulation exactly. Yes. You know what's crazy? This is the end of the video right here, guys. But these people have not made videos in 10 years. What happened? What happened to these people? Whoever is the, behind making the videos, bro. This is insane, bro. So, this is the story of Whitney Houston, man. Like I said, man, these sacrifices, bro, they're real, bro. They're real, man. Make sure you hit that like button. There's only 4 likes, bro. Hit that like button, bro. We're going in, bro. This is insane. After this, do you guys want to watch some scary stuff? Or do you guys want to keep on watching conspiracies? Because I got my boy Nexpo. I got him up in the queue, bro. I will play some Nexpo. Paul McCartney conspiracy. Let's see. I'll watch that one. Man, I can't spell, bro. Cannot spell. Which one is it? Is it this one?
Today's episode is brought to you by Dashlane. The Paul is Dead hoax is one of the strangest.
Is this the video we're supposed to be watching, Raider?
Stories in rock history. It almost doesn't seem real, but for 2 months in the fall of 1969, college students all across the United States were obsessed with discovering hidden messages on Beatles album covers and in the songs themselves. At the height of its popularity, the conspiracy theory spread around the world, spawning novelty songs, write-ups, and even prime-time TV news coverage. On today's episode of Strange and Unusual Tales, we're going to dive into the history of one of music's biggest urban legends and see if there's any truth to the rumor that Paul McCartney died in 1966.
together collectively they thought Paul McCartney had died. I understand that they still do.
McCartney was killed 3 years ago in an auto accident, and a double put in his place.
The gist of the theory is that after an argument during a Beatles recording session on November 9th, 1966, Paul McCartney sped off in his car only to be decapitated in an auto accident when he lost control of his vehicle. The UK security service MI5 advised the band to find a replacement, for they feared that if the news of Paul's death got out, mass hysteria would spread among Beatles fans, leading to civil unrest and possible mass suicide. The band held a Paul McCartney lookalike contest, and the winner was a Scottish orphan named William Shears Campbell, otherwise known as Billy Shears. After undergoing some minor plastic surgery, the Beatles taught him how to sing, act, and play music just like Paul. Luckily for Billy, his job was made easier by the fact that the Beatles recently retired from touring, and they were all set to don a new look for their upcoming album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's unknown how this theory got started, but the earliest printed mention of the rumor was in the February 1967 issue of Beatles Book Monthly. It was a small one-paragraph article that dispelled a small rumor that Paul was killed in a car accident on the 7th of January 1967. This seemed to quell the rumor for some time until the fall of 1969 when the rumor resurfaced. At first, it was just a story told at parties on college campuses across the US. But then a caller phoned a popular Detroit radio station and got DJ Russ Gibb to play some Beatles music that contained hidden messages live on the air. One of those listening that afternoon was college student Fred Laborde, and the story gave him an idea. He was tasked with writing a review of the newly released Abbey Road album, and instead of doing the same old track-by-track article, he decided to look deeper into the conspiracy and see if the Beatles' latest record held any clues of Paul's death. To his amazement, the cover alone was ripe with evidence. He wrote up what he found, and the story was published in the university newspaper on October 14th. His article was quickly picked up by other college papers and radio stations in both the US and the UK. Suddenly, the rumor spread like a wildfire, and fans became alarmed and wanted answers. The Beatles' management office was bombarded with questions of Paul's health, receiving nearly 3,000 phone calls a day. When McCartney was asked to confirm to the press that he was very much alive, he refused to give the rumor any credence, believing that the whole thing would just die down on its own. Paul just wanted to be left alone and live a quiet family life on his farm. News outlets couldn't confirm nor deny the rumor, so they ran with the story. This resulted in the conspiracy becoming a mainstream topic of concern, producing many newspaper articles, opinion pieces, and novelty songs. Eager to get the final say on the matter, a group of reporters from Life magazine trespassed onto McCartney's Scottish farm during the last week of October. Paul was furious and initially chased them away, but after realizing the photographers captured some unflattering photos of himself, he called them back and agreed to an interview in exchange for the negatives. Paul became the cover story for the November 7th issue, and that seemed to settle the matter once and for all, with the rumor all but dying out after the magazine was published. Now, the bulk of the evidence for this theory revolves around the idea that the remaining Beatles were racked with guilt over hiding Paul's death, and so they left clues of the cover-up for the fans to discover. I don't have time in this video to cover every clue found since 1969.
Wait, so pretty much Paul McCartney faked his death? Or is that Paul McCartney's clone? Or is that the guy that looks like Paul McCartney? I'm confused. Somebody in the chat help me out, please. And please hit the like button, bro. There's only 5 likes. There's 12 people up in here. Y'all better hit that like button, bro. Come on now. Helps the algorithm. But explain it to me right there in the chat, please.
So instead, my focus will be on the ones most widely cited at the height of the rumor's popularity. And we'll start with the first album since Paul's supposed death, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Now, the cover seems innocent enough until you look deeper and you see what others have described as a funeral. The Beatles are pallbearers, as they are all turned towards him, with Paul facing front, dead on. The British comedian Izzy Bond holds his open palm above Paul's head, signifying death in Eastern mysticism. Paul is the only member holding a black instrument, also a death indication. If you hold a mirror to the bass drum head, it reveals a hidden message. The number 1 plus the word 1 stands for the 11th month, or November. Then we see the Roman numeral for 9. This represents the day Paul died, November 9th, with the following message, he died, reinforcing this theory. As we move down the album, we see what appears to be a freshly buried grave with the shape of a left-handed guitar made out of flowers. Paul was the only left-handed member of the group, and if you look closely, you can see that the flowers spell out Paul ? Opening up the gatefold, we find a delightful picture of the Fab Four, but Paul has a patch on his shoulder with the letters OPD. Many believe this stands for officially pronounced dead, which is the British equivalent of DOA, or dead on arrival. Moving to the back of the album, the only Beatle with his back to us is Paul. Coincidence? Perhaps. But look where George is pointing. It's a lyric from She's Leaving Home. Wednesday morning at 5 a.m., the supposed time of Paul's death. The weird thing is, November 9th fell on a Wednesday in 1966. As we play the record, our first big piece of evidence happens right as the title track ends. You can hear the Beatles sing Billy Shears.
See, this is the thing right here. I believe that his death was faked. And then they cloned him to get a lookalike, and then they hid the real Paul McCartney. And they just that's what I believe, bro. Did the same thing with Pac, did the same thing with Biggie. They cloned him. Simple as that.
On side 2, the song A Day in a Life strongly alludes to Paul's death. He blew his mind out in a car. On the cover of their follow-up record, Magical Mystery Tour, Paul is the only member dressed in black and standing in a crucifixion pose, both strong indications of death. Looking above, if we connect the stars together, a phone number is revealed. Depending on how you look at it, you could get one of a dozen different numbers. When calling one of these on a Wednesday at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m., some people claim to get cryptic messages on the other end or actually talk to Billy Shears. Opening up the US version of Magical Mystery Tour, we are greeted by a 24-page booklet full of clues, including 4 instances of hands above Paul's head. The first being on page 14, then in cartoon form on page 15, then again on page 18, and finally on page 24. On page 3, we see Paul with the message in front of him saying, I was. On the centerfold, we see Paul is the only one without shoes. His shoes have blood stains on them, and they are just above page number 13. But perhaps the most obvious clue is on page 23. Paul is the only one wearing a black flower, another symbol of death. Turning to the music, towards the end of I Am the Walrus, buried deep in the cacophony, we can just barely hear voices reciting the death of Oswald from Shakespeare's King Lear. But even more brazen, when you play this section backwards, you can hear the demonic chanting, Paul is dead, ha ha. Flipping over to side 2, Strawberry Fields Forever reveals what appears to be John saying, I buried Paul. While the White Album itself lacks any visual clues, looking at the included poster, we find the only known photo of Billy Shears, pre-plastic surgery. Moving on to the music, the song Glass Onion contains a very obvious wink to the fans, as if John is confirming they're on to something. Well, here's another clue for you, Mom. The walrus was Paul. At the end of I'm So Tired, we hear some gibberish. But when we play this backwards, we hear John say, Paul is dead man, miss him, miss him, miss him. Finally, if we play the beginning of Revolution 9 backwards, we hear probably the most convincing piece of evidence. Turn me on, dead man.
What?
Yellow Submarine provides almost no clues other than yet another hand above Paul. Moving on to Abbey Road, the cover shows the Beatles walking away from what appears to be a cemetery. John leads a procession dressed in white, looking Christ-like with his long hair. Ringo follows, dressed in black, resembling an undertaker. Paul walks behind, out of step with the rest of the Beatles, and holding a cigarette in his right hand, contrary to the real Paul, who is left-handed. This Paul is also barefoot, suggesting a corpse. George takes up the rear dressed in denim, resembling a gravedigger. The Volkswagen Beetle in the background has a license plate 28IF, representing that Paul would be in his 28th year in 1969 if he was still alive. On the back, we find a series of dots that, if you connect them, form the number 3, which then reads 3 Beatles. Even that Life magazine interview wasn't enough for some theorists, as it was soon discovered that when you held up the cover to a strong light, the Mercury car ad on the other side can be seen running through the body of Paul. And while most of the Paul is dead proponents thought the Beatles were behind the rumor, there was a small subset that believed Capitol Records started the hoax as an elaborate publicity stunt to sell more records. And it's true that one unintended benefit of the rumor was a surge in Beatles album sales. Fans ended up buying multiple copies, often destroying their records when they played them backwards in search of more clues. Capitol knew the hoax was making them money, so they did nothing to stop it and had no shame capitalizing on the rumor themselves. And speaking of Capitol, some Paul is Dead believers found clues on the compilation album Yesterday and Today. On the recalled cover, Paul is in the center, covered in meat and the bodies of headless baby dolls, both clearly an indication of his horrific car accident. On the reissued cover, everything looks innocent.
What type of... Bro, what type of shit? Yo, Chad. Yo, could you imagine if the Beatles did this, if they did this in 2021? Canceled. This is weird. This is weird. I don't know, man. This guy may be reaching a bit. I don't know, bro. That's the first time I heard about it.
An indication of his horrific car accident. On the reissued cover, everything looks innocent enough until you turn the record sideways, and now Paul is in a coffin. The only problem with using either of these covers is that they were made and released while the real Paul was still alive, which brings us to the rebuttals. While these clues are entirely thought-provoking and some are quite convincing, there has to be a simpler explanation, and so let's go back to Sgt. Pepper's. If we look at the outtake photos from the cover shoot, we can clearly see how they tried many different poses. Paul isn't always holding the clarinet, sometimes it's a brass instrument. And notice how Paul moves around the set. He's not always in the middle, nor does he always stand under the supposed death hand. For a number of shots, Ringo takes his place. As for the other appearances of hands above Paul's head, this is pure coincidence. Also, there's no evidence of hands above head signifying anything to do with death or the dead. The date on the bass drum head doesn't hold up when you convert it to the UK standard format of day, month, then year. So it would actually read September 11th, which is a whole other can of worms. And while Paul didn't die on November 9th, it is an important date for John Lennon, as that's the day he met Yoko Ono at the Indica Gallery in London. As for the guitar made of flowers, according to photographer Peter Blake, that was an impromptu suggestion from one of the assistants during the shoot. The arrangement of flowers forming the word Paul is also a coincidence. And for Paul's OPD patch, when we look at alternate gatefold photos, we can clearly see that the patch actually stands for Ontario Provincial Police, or OPP. And again, the back cover photo was simply the favorite choice out of a series of photos, so any connection or meaning was purely coincidental. Same goes for where George is pointing. Moving to the music, the simplest explanation for the Beatles singing Billy Shears is that it's a rhyme for years, as Paul told Rolling Stone magazine in 1974. As for A Day in a Life, the car crash allusions in that song were based on the death of Tara Brown, who died when he crashed his sports car into a lamppost. The cover of Magical Mystery Tour is easily debunked by the fact that if you actually watch the TV special, it becomes abundantly clear that the walrus was actually John, not Paul. Now, the special wasn't widely available in the US until the 1970s, so this misunderstanding is forgivable. But wait a minute, if John really was the walrus, why would he sing otherwise on Glass Onion? Well, in an interview for Playboy magazine, John says he wrote that line as a joke, as he was feeling guilty for choosing Yoko over Paul. Not to mention, Glass Onion was written in 1968, well before the fervor of the Paul is dead rumor. As for the phone number on the cover of Magical Mystery Tour, There never really was one obvious set of numbers that you could decipher from the stars. There was several numbers. So if this really was a clue for the fans, you'd think they would make this much clearer so there wouldn't be any confusion as to what phone number to call. Turning to page 3 of the booklet, the message in front of him should actually read, "I, you, was." Bad English for sure, but not so much a death clue. Paul without his shoes on isn't a symbol of death, but more a reflection of his personal choice. Who knows, maybe his feet get really hot all the time, I don't know. As for the shoes having blood stains, isn't it far more likely that it's a reflection of the red bass drum that they're next to? As for them being above page 13, a lucky coincidence. But what about that black flower Paul is wearing? Well, he said in his Life magazine interview that they ran out of red flowers. Now, this doesn't really explain away all doubt, as he can be clearly seen dancing with a bouquet of red flowers in the special. Now, the section of King Lear heard on I Am the Walrus was recorded on the fly. Pure coincidence. They literally turned on the radio while they were mixing that song, and it just so happened to capture that scene. The backwards section is really up to interpretation, and it says more about the power of suggestion than actually saying Paul is dead. But what about John saying, "I buried Paul" at the end of Strawberry Fields Forever? Well, if you listen to an alternate take on the Beatles Anthology 2, you can clearly hear him say cranberry sauce. Moving on to the White Album, the photo of Billy Shears is more likely just McCartney wearing glasses. Maybe it's even a passport photo. The backwards message at the end of I'm So Tired doesn't say Paul is dead, man, miss him, but it's actually forwards with John saying, "Monsieur, monsieur, how about another one?" Beatles biographer, historian, and authority Mark Lewinson confirmed this when he listened to the master tapes. However, I can't explain away the eerie coincidence of Turn Me On, Dead Man on Revolution 9. It is what it is. Moving on to Abbey Road, Fred Laborde admits to making up all the clues he listed in his 1969 newspaper article. As for Paul being barefoot, it was a hot day out and he kicked off his sandals to be more comfortable. Outtake photos confirm this, and they also dispel any significance with the way he's walking. They only took 6 photos for the cover, and the one with Paul at a step simply looked the best. As for the Volkswagen, photographer Ian McMillan states that they tried to get it moved for the photo, but the owner couldn't be found. Since they were blocking
cap. Do we believe him, chat? Who gonna tell him? Who gonna tell him, chat?
Traffic to take the photo, there wasn't enough time to get it towed, and so the car stayed. And by the way, the license plate actually reads 281F. But what about the first Paul is dead rumor back in 1967? Paul's Mini Cooper was involved in an accident, but he wasn't in the car. It was being driven by Robert Frazier's assistant while Paul was traveling in another car with Mick Jagger. As for the accident that supposedly killed Paul on November 9th, 1966, there's no evidence of one occurring, and it's well documented that Paul was on vacation during this time. Paul did crash his moped in December of '65, but he only suffered a chipped tooth and a scar on his upper lip, which ultimately led to him wanting to grow a mustache to hide the scar. As for Capitol Records being behind the stunt, they deny any involvement, claiming they had no publicity people that could come up with something so elaborate. And after 50 years, no one who worked for Capitol has ever come forward to say otherwise. Guilty of butchering Beatles albums, oh yes, butchering Paul, not so much. In the end, I think it's nearly impossible to find someone that could resemble Paul McCartney so well, but also be as talented as him, and then go on to have the career he did after the Beatles. Not to mention all the people involved to keep the cover-up a secret, from management to close friends and significant others. Any one of them could have made millions by spilling the beans, yet no one has. But for me, the most convincing argument I've read against the Paul is dead theory is that the clues are only clues if you're looking for them with the idea of Paul's death. Meaning, there really isn't a clue that outright says Paul is dead. And I know I did state 2 clues that seem to say otherwise, but you really have to stretch the imagination to hear Paul's name. It's all up to interpretation and wishful thinking. You hear what you want to hear. Ultimately, I'm sure you could come up with clues that fit any narrative you want, like the Beatles were really Satanists. I mean, Aleister Crowley is on the cover of Sgt. Pepper's after all. Paul himself still gets asked about the whole fiasco, and for the most part he takes it in stride, often playing into it.
But it was a little bit strange because people did start looking at me like, right. Is it him or a very good double?
Or making fun of it as he did on his live album from '93, even down to the Beatle having the license plate of 51 is, as he was 51 in 1993. Though direct references to the rumors seem to have died down in recent years, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone unaware of its lasting effects on popular culture. I mean, the very idea of playing a record backwards to reveal hidden messages owes a large debt to this very conspiracy theory. Much of the information on the Paul is dead rumor thrives on the internet, and you can really enjoy diving into that rabbit hole, but you gotta be smart when...
Alright, that video is over. So, we'll have a poll in the chat. I can do this. Oh, here. Oh, this is cool. I've never tried this before. So, it's gonna be a poll. It's gonna be what do you guys want to watch? Scary videos or conspiracies? Okay. I'm about to put the poll in right now. Hold on. I probably cannot spell. Oh well. I didn't spell that right. Did that work? Can y'all see that in the chat? Boom. That's pretty cool, isn't it? How we got so far? Y'all vote on that poll. Y'all should see at like the top of your screen in the chat. Okay, so we got scary videos 80%. Cause I got something for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Is it next poll? Looks like scary videos won, bro. I think you might have seen that one last night. Uh-oh. Here we go. Alright. That's convenient. Yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? I'll go ahead and end that poll real quick. Oh boy, time to get spooked. Hey, don't try to be closing your eyes, man. Don't be a pussy.
The internet can be a grim place. Surely you don't need someone like me to tell you that. Videos, live streams, works of art, posts, and pages about disturbing events that have happened in our reality are nothing but a Google search away. Underneath the no commentary long plays and the fast lane truck drag racing videos exists a vast ocean of eerie content that'll surely get you thinking. And just might keep you up at night.
Bro?
Welcome back to Disturbing Things, your one-stop shop for bite-sized, eerie finds that I've recently discovered online. This is episode 12, so if this is your first exposure to this series, be sure to head over to the playlist down below for hours of further content to envelop yourself into.
Ooh, we got a playlist now.
Without further ado,
oh snap.
It's time, once again, to dive into 5 more hand-picked
melon flavor Mountain Dew? What
from
the
around
hell?
the internet.
That does sound kind of fire. But I don't drink soda like this one.
let's set the mood. On the internet, there exists an album by the name of Everywhere at the End of Time. It was created in 2016 by a musical artist named James Leyland Kirby, also known by his stage name, The Caretaker. While I'm aware that on this show, I primarily cover real-world disturbing events, I wanted to discuss this piece of art since it perfectly encapsulates the disturbing reality of over 44 million people that are alive today. As you might have guessed by now, the album's an artistic expression of the numerous stages of dementia and how it slowly overtakes the mind, sending it spiraling into a wormhole of forgetfulness, twisted by a reality that they stray further and further from recognizing.
What's good, George?
The 6-hour album itself starts off ordinary. It's cheery, calm, and invokes a sense of comfort. As the hours pass and it progresses, Leyland subtly morphs not only the overall tone, but each chord progression and tune into something that hardly resembles what you were listening to a mere half-hour earlier. The descriptions from his YouTube video further exemplify the troubles that dementia patients face, too. Stage 1 is described as the first signs of memory loss. It's a stage that's most like a beautiful daydream, the glory of old age and recollection, the last of the great days.
Dementia is a terrible thing to go through, guys. Terrible.
Stage 2 encapsulates denial. More efforts made to remember so memories can be more long form, with a little more deterioration in quality. The overall personal mood is generally lower than the first stage, and at a point before confusion starts setting in. Stage 3 approaches the metaphorical inflection point. It's described as the phase where some of the last coherent memories exist before confusion fully rolls in and the gray mists form and fade away. Finest moments have been remembered, but the musical flow in places is more confused and tangled. As we progress, some singular memories become more disturbed, isolated, broken.
Hey, do y'all want to skip ahead? Because I don't think this is that scary to me. I ain't really feeling it right now. I don't think that's that scary. Y'all want to skip ahead? We gonna skip, bro. I ain't gonna skip.
As a child, I remember her being full of life, always willing to go the extra mile to evoke a sense of union and love.
This
a
one not hitting
devastating
like
EF5 rated tornado ripped through the city of Joplin, Missouri. It lasted around 38 minutes and reached wind speeds of more or less 200 miles per hour. The aftermath.
Bro, this not hitting. This not hitting, chat. I'm not gonna lie. This one is not hitting. This one is not hitting. It's not hitting, bro. It's not scary, bro. Five more strange and unrevealed. Bro, we gotta find something. We gotta find something. Hope this one's good. I hope so.
Creepy, or downright unsettling.
The
Today,
shit.
I'm going to share with you 5 strange and unnerving YouTube videos.
Found footage. Emergency.
This video displays a person seemingly lost in an empty hospital while an emergency alarm goes off. There's an eerie feel to the entire video, since we don't know what's actually happening, but we know for sure that it isn't good. The creepiest part of the video is knowing that at any time in your life, you could be the one that's left in the hospital while everyone else evacuates for whatever reason they did. Take a look and you decide what's happening.
Oh hell no. Bro, like what's going on, bro? Man, this can mean anything. I mean,
Vision of Bias is one of those videos that I absolutely cannot watch by myself at night. From the start, the entire atmosphere gives me an unsettling feeling, and I get the chills. The method of editing, coupled with the film reel effect, gives it a sinister and authentic feel. The ending is a home run in the horror genre, and I wholeheartedly do not recommend watching this at night, alone.
You watching this tonight alone? I watch it alone. The hell? What the fuck? Oh hell no. Oh hell no. Oh no. Nah. They trying to summon some damn demons, bruh. Oh hell no. Oh hell no. Hey listen, don't try to be scared up in the chat, bro. Like come on, bro. Like come on. Don't close your eyes, bro. Oh, what the? She woke up feeling. What the? Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm backing up. Bro, I swear this is a jump scare, bro. I swear. What the? Nah, bro. Chill, bro. Chill. She felt somebody was in her room watching her. Bro, chill, bro. Come on. Bro, come on. Bro?
I'll link the full video in the description below, and don't say I didn't warn you. If you end up watching the full thing, then all I can say is sweet dreams.
I'm alone in the dark right now too, you already know.
Mom.avi is one of those videos that has almost no explanation. From the start, you are met with an unsettling atmosphere, and about 5 seconds in, someone flips a switch on camera, and you are met with an eerie figure wearing a white mask and staring you down. This continues on for a couple of minutes, and it's very strange. If you try to find any information on it, good luck since almost nobody has any leads on its creator or purpose.
People are weird, bro. Oh God, people are weird. People are so weird. So chat, what y'all doing if y'all see something like you wake up in the middle of the night and you walk to your kitchen and you see a figure like this with your own eyes? What y'all doing, bro? What is the first thing you do? You already know. I'm running, bro. I'm gone. 449 dash, bro. I'm gone, bro. I'm gone. I'm leaving everything, dropping the phone. Actually, well, I probably have my phone with me. I got my phone with me. I'm gone. Matter of fact, forget the car. I'm running until I run out of breath, bro. What the window? Exactly. What the window? What the house? F everything else, bro. You can have the house. You can have the food. You can have my shoes. You can have my YouTube channel. I'm done, bro. He said I'm shooting it. So the doors just about to let the gat, about to let the gat fly, bro. About to spray it. He said I'm tackling that thing.
Mom.avi could be the beginning of some sort of ARG, or it could be some good editing by someone trying to freak people out. Who knows? It could even be some truly creepy cult video since it was initially found on PetitTube.
Oh shit, my bad, chat. I'm trying to get into my OBS. Look.
The PHR educational video is an interesting one. You're met with a catchy beat that makes it seem like an innocent video until about 28 seconds in, when the video cuts to a creepy shot of a random door. The commentator then explains the mystery and who lives in each of the rooms in the video, and then warns of the suicide room that has caused the death of one of its occupants.
Bro? To live in room 2? They own an animal with lots of fur that doesn't breathe? What you mean? What the hell is that? And on to the next. Room number 3. Bro? Bro, this video sucks, bro. This one sucks. Skip.
The entire thing has an unsettling Evil Dead style to it that makes it entirely
tea time.
Tea Time is one of my favorite scary short films to date. It was shot in the 1990s and involves an elderly woman enjoying a cup of tea while a piano rhythm plays in the background. Everything seems innocent until about 20 seconds in when we see what seems like her crying. However, that's not even the most mysterious part. At about 40 seconds in, we can see her overfilling a cat bowl, which then seems very strange, and then the video takes an eerie turn. Have a look.
Bro? What the hell's wrong with this old lady? Oh shit. What going on? She's like, the fuck going on? Bro? Oh hell no. Yo! She killed her husband? It's all good, chat. He's just taking a nap. He's just taking a nap. Bro, like, why do people make films like this? Like, I don't get it. What is the purpose of this? Bro?
My take on the video is that she initially murdered her cat due to mental instability and then went on to do the same to her husband. This is reflected in her strange behavior and the constantly changing piano rhythm. The piano itself could signify her mental stability as it deteriorates over the course of the video. As we can see, she hallucinates constantly while showing regret for her actions.
Exactly,
she
George.
tries one last time to live a decently normal life while she knows that she cannot take back what she did. After realizing that she cannot take the images of her husband and cat out of her head, she decides that she's had enough and grabs the saw from below the sink to resolve the problem. The entire thing is brilliant, and I may cover it more in depth in a future video. This was my top 5 list of strange and
That was very odd. I'm not gonna lie. That was really freaking weird, chat. I'm not gonna lie. This is insane, bro. Shout out to Nexpo, by the way, bro. Shout out to Nexpo. We gotta find we're gonna find that playlist real quick. Let's see, unless y'all wanna see I mean, if we look up Ghost, sometimes those are fake, bro. They can't be explained. Oh, not chills, man. Nick Crowley.
Ever since I first began using the internet as a kid, I can remember searching up videos of ghosts caught on camera. There was something about watching these low-quality videos that always left me so terrified that I couldn't sleep. Yet it interested me so much that the next day I'd come back wanting more. Which is probably why my sleep schedule is all jacked up to this day. But as I've gotten older, I began to notice the flaws in many of these videos. Signs of editing and staging became more obvious, as it quickly became more clear to me that what you see on the internet isn't always as genuine as it claims to be. This realization made it harder for me to trust any sort of paranormal videos that I watched, because I was bamboozled one too many times. But recently, that same childhood curiosity that I once had actually returned.
Bro,
I began wondering if there were any paranormal videos out there that could truly be seen as convincing to me. And after searching around, I found a few that have me interested.
The remote.
For me, when a young child or a baby is in a paranormal video, a lot of the times it actually comes across as more genuine. Not only would it be harder to convince a child to act in these videos, but we all know that kids normally aren't the best at acting anyway. But besides this, apparently children are also more susceptible to encountering spirits.
What the hell?
So having this prior knowledge, coupled with how subtle to encounter. Besides this, apparently children are also more susceptible to.
Nah. Could y'all imagine you just a kid, bro? You just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Somebody recording you just chilling, and something just pulls you and just pushes you to the ground. Some unknown, bro. What the hell? Watch Mark Twain, Mysterious Stranger. Maybe after this, Tyler. Maybe after this.
Encountering spirits. So having this prior knowledge, coupled with how subtle our first video is, it truly has left me stumped, even after watching this multiple times.
What the hell? Yo?
When no one takes your fun seriously. No.
See, kids cannot act, chat. They can't act. They're genuine. That's why this one could be real. It's like he's fighting with.
This video shows the remote in a young child's hand, seemingly being pulled by an unknown force. From what I can tell, there doesn't seem to be any sort of strings involved or editing. Plus, this type of movement would be all but impossible for a child this age to pull off. And honestly, that goes for any age for that matter. I mean, this would just be so hard to replicate because the remote moves in such an unnatural way. Because of this, we are left with little explanation as to how this could be possible. Either his movements caused this remote to shift in a 1 in a million type of way, or perhaps this child was grappling with some sort of paranormal entity.
Grandma's train.
Our next video was posted to Reddit, where it quickly gained interest throughout the paranormal community. It was posted with the caption, "My daughter played her grandma's piano, who passed away a month ago in Japan. Here we keep the cremated remains and bones/ashes for 49 days before finally burying at the graveyard." While I was focused on filming her, a toy in the background starts to move, and we were the only two in the room.
After this, we'll watch Mark Twain, Mysterious Stranger, and then Jamaican Ghost Boy.
Yay, that was good. Good job.
This one is especially interesting to me because at first I wasn't a believer in it. With the whole left side of the screen cut off, I just figured that someone was off camera who had just pushed the toy train. But the more I viewed it, the more intrigued I became. And that's because of the pace in which the train actually moved. Just looking at it, its speed isn't really consistent with it being pushed along. At one point, it looks like it even hesitates and then picks up speed. That makes it doubtful to me that it could have been pushed. Also, despite initially thinking that it could be one of those toys that you pull back and it moves forward on its own, I'm starting to think that it's less and less likely. I mean, every time that I've used a toy like that, it always makes some kind of noise, and it's very distinct.
Yeah, okay, on to the next, bro. Yeah, okay. Alright. I'm not really scared, dude. Not scared. This is Pee-wee scary videos. This is for like 10-year-old, 12-year-old kids. So Mark Twain, Mysterious Stranger.
Fame is a vapor. The only earthly certainty is oblivion.
Welcome to the Mysterious Stranger.
What?
Hello.
Who are you?
An angel.
Yes, sir, Raider.
What's your name? Satan. What's the
Excuse me?
matter?
Nothing. Only it's sure a sorry name for an angel.
Please, come in.
What the shit? And this is in cartoons where children watch this, bro.
Amazing. It's like an island.
What the fuck?
How do you learn to do that?
I got God on my side, bro.
I didn't learn it at all. It comes naturally to me, like other curious things. Are you hungry?
Sure am.
What kind of fruit do you like the most?
Oh, hell no.
Oranges! Apples? Grapes.
Ooh. Where'd he go?
What happened to him?
There. Oh boy.
Can we help?
You may make some people.
I'll make the king and queen.
When was this animated?
Look at that little village.
There. Here's a buddy.
Now we'll give them life.
Looks like my pap on Saturday night.
What in the hell?
There's like regular people.
What type of sick shit is this?
I find you humans quite interesting, even though you are a worthless, greedy lot. How annoying that sound is. Fools. What fascinations there are on this planet. Strange mortals with curious customs. We'll have a storm now, and an earthquake if you like. You must stand aside, out of danger.
Damn. It's freaking insane, man. Like, chat, you got kids watching this, bro. When did this movie come out? Like, kids are watching so-called Satan, which is in a different form, which is in a childish form. Oh, look, Satan looks cool. I guess I might just believe. I guess I might just worship him. Like, bro, like, this is all agendas, man. Like, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, the RP, you know what I'm saying? It's bigger than just female nature. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love doing streams like this. I don't like talking about women all the time, bro. I don't care. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. Like, it's bigger than this. And you know, I'm trying to show y'all, like, this world we live in is not everything what it seems. This world is fabricated. This world is fake. We live in the Matrix, bro. Wake up, bro.
I can do no wrong, for I do not know what it is.
You murdered him.
Never mind them. People are of no value. We could make more sometime, if we need them. Life itself is only a vision, a dream. Nothing exists save empty space and you. And you are but a thought.
That is the weirdest thing ever, bro.
I want to go home.
That is the oddest thing ever. So what are you supposed to be watching that? The Jamaican Ghost Child? Oh, Ghost. Man's getting attacked by ghosts,
Now,
bro.
much public discussion has been generated by our story in Newswatch Thursday about a Spanish town boy who claims to be troubled by an evil spirit. Our news team was in the area Wednesday night as the boy appeared to have been pulled by an unseen force. Now, these are the dramatic pictures which sent tongues wagging.
Tyler.
Again, we caution that some viewers may find the footage unsettling.
Right now.
You touching your nose?
Yeah.
Still touching you?
Yeah.
Bro!
Touch you? Tell me when I touch you. Am I touch you? Am I touch your foot? In the roll. Yeah, what?
And people don't believe in ghosts, bro.
Well, our cameras were in
Hell
the area
no.
again this morning. As
Hell
a
no,
visited the
hell
boy's
no.
home to witness the events for himself and tried to help. Kalila Enriquez has a follow-up.
Hit me with a stone, come on. Hit me with a
For several minutes Friday morning, Bishop Rohan Edwards challenged what he believed was an evil spirit to show his presence. Although family members claimed the ghost had been throwing objects, there was no evidence of that before the bishop. But it wasn't long before whatever force was responsible responded to the challenge.
Try to take him away, let me see. Oh, you're afraid, you're a coward. You're not doing nothing.
Nah, bro.
All right. Oh.
Nah, that can't be fake, bro. That cannot be fake. Do you see the way his body's moving and contorting? Like, bro, that is a ghost. That is a spirit. That is a demon trying to attack this man. Like, bro. Like, come on. This is insane, bro. This is literally insane. People just make joke in the comments, bro. So Rain bot family. That's what I'm saying, bro. I couldn't imagine, like, this man, this boy probably can't even sleep. The disturbing case of the Powell family. Is this it? Is this the video? Is this the video? Let's skip this sponsor.
Wishes to do us harm. The first place to probably come to mind here would be our homes or our bedrooms. Imagine someone breaking in while you sleep, or even worse, living right under your nose. With that said, what if an intruder wasn't necessarily haunting you physically, but instead doing so from a distance? There's no denying that these days our phones are a part of us. No matter how much we would like to deny it, in many ways they become extensions of our very being, and to lose control of them could mean destabilizing our entire lives and mental well-being. The constant paranoia would be exhausting. We'd never know if we were being watched or listened to, maybe even having our locations tracked. This steep unease plagued not just one, but several individuals residing in Washington state a little over a decade ago in an incident known as the Kirkendall phone stalking case, and here is how it happened. What would eventually morph into a tangled web involving dozens of people all started with one family, the Kirkendalls. In February of 2007, the family began receiving strange messages from an unknown caller, ID'd only as restricted. At first, the comments made by the caller seemed juvenile, something a teenage boy might assume passes for legitimate comedy, but it didn't take long at all for things to take a dark turn. The messages became more and more volatile and even threatening. The caller or callers would deliberately intimidate the family and make them question their safety. And to make matters even worse, it seemed like whoever was doing this actually had some bite to back up their bark. According to local coverage in the News Tribune, the attackers quite literally had their eyes on the family, presumably hacking into their phones' cameras in order to spy on their every move. At one point, they received a message in which the caller described the clothing worn by Courtney, the household's 16-year-old daughter, and believe it or not, it gets even worse. The Kirkendalls were not only being watched, but were also being recorded, their own conversations often sent right back to them in the form of voicemails which the family would receive almost daily. At some points, the harassment even escalated to the point where the family might have actually been in physical danger. They reported hearing, quote, banging and screaming at their windows at night on more than one occasion. As anyone would, the Kirkendalls went to the local police to report the ongoing harassment, but instead of a solution, they were met with a bizarre twist. When the restricted number was traced, it led back to Courtney, the very girl who was supposedly being spied on via her phone camera by some clandestine creep. But why would this be? The Kirkendalls insisted that Courtney wasn't responsible, and according to them, the phone had been acting on its own. Yes, you heard that right. The family would claim that they tried to make the mysterious outgoing messages stop, and when all else failed, they even turned off Courtney's phone, which would somehow turn itself back on again. In fact, the family was so convinced that someone else was doing this that they themselves volunteered a cash reward for anyone who could help expose their stalkers. It goes without saying that police, on the other hand, were skeptical, and many simply pointed the finger at the teenage girl, but as this was going on, more trouble was brewing elsewhere. The nearby Price family had also been enduring the same harassment, presumably due to their relation to the Kirkendalls, as the two mothers of the households were sisters. The pair found themselves in a joint effort to make the calls stop and to clear Courtney's name. After all, she seemed to bear the brunt of the attacks. The mother and aunt at one point decided to pay a visit to police to follow up on the investigation, and that's when they received yet another message. This time, the voicemail contained their conversation with detectives, a clear dismissal by whoever it was listening in on them. By this point, Courtney's runaway phone had continued sending out messages even beyond the boundaries of the family. According to further reports by the News Tribune, Courtney's friends also received some degree of these bizarre messages. It seemed like anyone who was in her contacts list was being targeted, and at one point, the bullseye landed on one Taylor McKay, Courtney's friend and next-door neighbor. Soon enough, the messages would spread to the entire McKay family, and so would the threats. At one point, Mrs. McKay claimed that she'd been slicing limes in her kitchen, and that's when she received a message stating, quote, "I prefer lemons." Another family, the Zimmermans, had heard about all the chaos surrounding the community and offered their sympathy, which seemed to cause them to be targeted as well. This time, the caller made inappropriate comments towards the household's teenage daughter, Kayleen, whose phone was supposedly later hacked into. From there, a photo was downloaded from the phone and emailed directly to the girl's mother. Perhaps worst of all for the Zimmermans was one episode in which the father of the family claimed to hear a suspicious noise coming from near Kayleen's room, and and there he found a window busted in and a nightstand tipped over. Now, luckily, their daughter wasn't home at the time, and needless to say, she could have potentially dodged a bullet here. As the months continued to go by, the disturbing incidents continued. At one point, for example, while Courtney was out babysitting, the hackers managed to call the cell phone of the child she was meant to watch over.
Fucking school threats, bro.
This was clearly crossing the line even more than it already had. Again, local law enforcement was stumped and pretty obviously convinced that this was entirely a hoax. The Pierce County Sheriff's spokesman, Ed Troyer, had told the News Tribune that their department had their IT guy on the case, and despite over 50 hours of work, he couldn't figure out how any of this was possible. Likewise, a Sprint representative by the name of Matt Sullivan also told the paper that in essence, no tech capable of such a thing even existed. Now, what I just said is a bit questionable, and I'm willing to bet that most of you are hitting that doubt button hard enough to break your tables in half, and security expert and consultant for US Congress James Atkinson would absolutely agree with you. Atkinson explained to the News Tribune that what had happened here was not only plausible, but also, quote, "You do not have to have a strong technical background for someone to do this. They probably have a technically gifted kid who is probably in their neighborhood." And to ABC News, he stated, "You can take photographs remotely, you can track the person's position, you can figure out where their phone is. Most cops have no idea how this is done." Now, having said all this only means that it's possible for this to have been the work of an outside entity, maybe even a classmate of Courtney, but even so, why? Some speculated that this might have been a form of cyberbullying directed at the girl, but if so, then why bother with the dozens of other people? I suppose teenage boredom could explain anything, but regardless, what happened here most likely violated several laws, everything from the obvious harassment all the way to wiretapping, and not to mention the several times where the victims claimed the stalkers appeared at their homes. Now, if this was all done by Courtney, it somehow makes less sense, and to add to the mystery, it almost seems like it couldn't have been her, because at one point her phone had been taken away for the investigation, and lo and behold, her number still sent out messages. With that in mind, it does seem way more likely that her phone wasn't actually the device used to send the voicemails. Overall, the Kuykendall family had replaced their cell phones and opened new accounts several times, but nothing stopped the attacks. Again and again, they continued to pour in, and what made them eventually stop is actually unclear. Reporting on this story seems to dry up around mid-2007, so we can assume that the calls stopped, but as for why, well, it's possible that the Kuykendahl's themselves don't know the answer. Regardless, it's the concept here that's chilling. Whether this was real or a massively convoluted hoax involving the participation and silence of dozens of people, we all fear the idea of being watched or spied on, our privacy being invaded. And what's even scarier is that this took place way back in 2007, and since then, stories like this have only become more prominent and easier for sketchy individuals to make a reality. Thank you so much for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed.
Well, that was all right. It wasn't too bad, Rhombus. It wasn't too bad. Let me check this one out real quick on. I'm tired, chat. I just what time is it? I'm super tired. Oh no, I'm gonna get copyrighted for that. I can't watch it on stream. Oh man. Yeah, bro, it's late. Alright guys. I'm finna pack up the stream, bro. It's been a good one, man. The first stream, it got cut down. But if you guys do want to watch that one, you know, if you were late, like somebody like George who just came in live stream, man, I'm gonna be uploading that one on Patreon, bro. That one's gonna go on the Patreon page. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it right now as we speak. That one is going on patreon.com. Okay, so listen. My Patreon right here, bro. I'm gonna put it on stream. You know what I'm saying? I got one active Patreon. Shout out to my brother. $3 a month. Very affordable. You know what I'm saying? I got some videos on here already. I'm about to post a video right now, bro. This is insane, bro. So become a Patreon. If I go too deep into the lives, you know what I'm saying, like I'm talking, talking too crazy for YouTube, then a lot of stuff is going to end up being on Patreon. So you guys can become a patron today. If not, I appreciate you guys either way. I'm saying, but $3 a month, not too bad, bro. It's not too bad. You know what I'm saying? If you got a Netflix subscription, you got a Hulu subscription, or Spotify, you can definitely sign to the Patreon. But it's up to you. It's up to you. But appreciate you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Have a good night. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hella late. I live on the West Coast, so it's only 11:19 p.m. for me, bro. But I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. Peace out, bro. I'll be live tomorrow. Come through. Have a good night, guys. Be safe.